Hi guys, Bobby and Vinny here from Peak Performance Academy, and today's Coach's Corner, old habits die hard.
So point number one, it's when you reach your goal, that's kind of when the old habits start to creep back in. You've reached your goal that you set out to at the start, and after that you're in a place you don't really know where you're going, you're delighted, and you almost feel like you're finished now, you're finished on your fitness or health journey. And that's where things like eating out at the weekend, going back drinking one or two times a week, that stuff starts to creep in. So it's kind of about sitting down and planning what's next for you.
Yeah, and that brings us on to point number two, and it's the problem is when you reach your goal, obviously, Vinny said you get a little bit slack with everything, and then that old habits start to slowly creep in one at a time. But the key thing there, and it's something you can try yourself, is that if you set up a long-term plan, so if you come along and you say your goal is to be at a certain weight or look a certain way in the next 2 months, so you come to the end of June, and as you're just coming towards your goal, that's the time, midway through that month, you know, it's going to be 2-3 weeks away, to set what's next. Okay, what's for July, August, September. Start setting a plan straight away. Maybe you're with a coach and that's the time where you can both sit down and you'll have a chat and you go through, okay, I'm going to achieve this goal and I need to plan out beyond that. So straight away there's a strategy, there's a structure, and then you just write down what you're going to do, and then you follow that plan and carry on. It's like, think of when you do reach your initial goal, that's just the first step, and then you go from there and go from there. So that long-term planning is really, really important, that you don't put all the eggs in one basket just for that point in time, because you will think, okay, brilliant, I've achieved that, and then slowly things will start to creep in, and everybody has the best intentions to try to stay on track, but old habits die hard, and that's the problem.
It's okay 1 or 2 or even 3 times in the long term. You have to realise that whether it's weight loss or whatever your goal is, it's not going to be a linear pattern. It's not going to be a straight line from the current weight you're at to the weight you're going to be at. You're going to have some bumps along the road, and that's okay. Once you, like last point, if you have a long-term plan, it's going to be easier once you fall off the wagon to get back on track, because no one's ever going to diet and lose weight and everything and to be absolutely perfect. It's not sustainable. You have to be enjoying what you're doing. You have to be learning all the time as well.
Yeah, because that's really an important point Vinny was saying, is that people will fall off track. It's just part of life. Everybody does it. You will fall off track. But having that plan, when you do slip off the road, you're straight back on, because you know the structure, you know the plan that you have set. Say now it's a calorie thing, you suddenly overeat by 1,000 calories. But then you look at, okay, tomorrow I know what calories I should be on, everything's broken down for me, and I look at my nutrition in a weekly basis instead of just that point in time. So I can say, right, I can get back on track here. If I've overate by 1,000 calories, for instance, on a Monday, and my total calories for the week, for instance, is 15,000, I know that if I cut back per day just 200 calories over that 7-day period, even just about 200 calories, even a little bit less, I'm going to be back on track. So small little change there, small little alter of your nutrition plan, and you're back on track, there's no issue. That is going to happen. It's going to happen, and you have to allow that to happen. It's just part of life. And that brings us on to point number 4, is when you reach a goal, most important thing is you should ask yourself is, how did you feel on that particular time? What emotion was there? And that's really important. Goals are tied to emotions. So if it was your wedding day, or it was maybe a photo shoot, or it was an event you had, or maybe a sporting performance and you were training towards that, how did you feel on that day? And you need to basically really feel that emotion and say to yourself, right, that was the best day, I felt so good, I was so positive, I was so confident in my own body, and that's what you need. That needs to be your internal driving force to carry on. That's where, when habits start to creep in, you think back on that emotion and you say to yourself, okay, me going out 3 times this weekend, is it worth it? Because I'm going to take myself away from where I've just been, and that's just going to make it very, very hard for me again, and that's going to create other emotions which are not going to be that nice, and it's going to create a lot of stress. So just ask yourself how you felt on the day or the time that you achieved your goal, and use that feeling to drive you forward onto the next goal, the next goal, the next goal.
And the last thing in the bonus point is set new habits through consistency. So there's no point anyone in any area of life or whatever goal there are just following a a diet plan or a training program if they don't understand why they're doing it, because once they finish this training block, or once they get to the end of a 10 or 12 week nutrition plan, like where do you go from there? What have you learned from it? And that's what is going to make it easy for the old habits to be creeping back in. And like long term, no one's going to be able to follow something long term for years, months, years and years, which you're looking for, because you're trying to get healthier over a longer period of time. So it's all about learning why you're doing stuff, learning to build nutritional habits, and just be patient. It's going to take up to six or 7 weeks just to build a habit anyway. So you have to allow for that time, and just not try and rush into things and try and do things three weeks out. If it's a wedding or something you have, and just kind of hit the panic button a couple of weeks out. Kind of getting back to the first couple of points, planning the long term, and just allow yourself that time, because it will take time to build habits, so you are educated, so you're learning while you're doing it, and then you're getting your results at the end of the day.
And if you think of habits as like, you have your good habits, and then you could say to yourself, okay, I have my bad habits, and my bad habits are up here. So there's a kind of a 70-30 split there, and consistency over time will slowly bring them good habits up and then bad habits down. And what we're trying to achieve is obviously to lower the bad habits down into the 30%, and the 70% is good habits. And that's where the 1, 2, 3 times sometime you fall off the wagon, you'll slip out of your lane. That's okay. Remember, it's consistency. It's the long term. We're trying to change that little balancing factor, and that's really, really important.
Like anyone would take being 80% good over a 30 or 40 week period than being 100% perfect for just 4 or 5 weeks. Because the long term you're looking for is just that consistency, and trying to do too much too quick, then it's easy to get overwhelmed and get back to square one then.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you hear, you'll find all our information on peakperformancekalari.com. We are on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat, #WeArePeak. And you'll find all our content and all our videos on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Thanks for listening.